And good morning to you, St. Lucia. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. It's the 20th of October. And in St. Lucia, we're pressing on. We are gaining ground with our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And Homer DeMark is here with me as usual. Homer, good morning. It's a while that we haven't sat together for the morning update. But as I said, COVID-19, we're gaining some ground. We're seeing that our numbers are beginning to decline. And so we are certain to celebrate the fact that St. Lucians, your adherence to the product is going to help the recoveries, the number of people recovering, good. And so most importantly at this time, making sure you wear your mask, sanitizing, social distancing, following the other measures of being confinement and so forth. And here's the most important, boosting your immune system. That's going to help you natural ability to sort of resist the virus as well. If you were to contract it, it's going to help you better fight the virus. And certainly in your recovery, if you were to contract it, it's going to help you be recovered even quicker. So, Homer, bring us up to date with the numbers.
Sure, Lisa, no problem. So yesterday, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs recorded 46 new cases of COVID-19. These were processed on Monday at the Ezra Long Laboratory from a sample of 364. So that brings our positivity rate for those samples to 12.6%. Also, the total number of cases diagnosed in country, 12,280. Always good news when we hear recoveries of individuals, and we see confirmation of 78 individuals. That's recovery, those with COVID-19, and that brings our number of active cases in country to 502. There are 7 individuals who are severely ill at the respiratory hospital. Now, if you are looking to get vaccinated today, there are a number of vaccination sites that you can visit, the VG Sports Complex being one of them, Denry Mothers being another. You can also visit St. Anthony's Medical Center at its VA branch and get vaccinated there. Vaccines will be distributed at the Tapion Hospital by appointment only, and vaccine distribution at all sites are scheduled between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So if you are looking to get vaccinated today, these are the sites that you visit.
And also very important for you to remember that getting vaccinated is free. It's not going to cost you anything, no matter where you go for you to get vaccinated for COVID-19. It's not going to cost you. It is a public health concern. So that is the government is playing its part and facilitating that for you. All you need to do is get yourself informed about the vaccine, make a decision, go out there and get vaccinated. Now, Homer, we've said it already. October is the month for what? Tooth sauce. Tooth bagay. Tooth bagay. So we know we celebrated Creole Heritage Month. We're doing that. We just had on Monday the very important discussion on breast cancer because it is Breast Cancer Month, and we will be continuing the discussion come next week. It's a subject matter that is so complex that you can't really thrash it out in just 1 hour. So we'll be having ways to look at various aspects of cancer. Also, Homer, it's Financial Information Month as well, and another very important thing. So International Credit Union Day is on Thursday. So make sure you get yourself literate when it comes to money management, the sort of resources available to you for investment and so forth. And now, Homer, we come to our wonderful guest. We always love having her. She doesn't come in often enough. But, the St. Lucia Planned Parenthood Association, in collaboration with the Caribbean Planning Affiliate and International, today they're launching a very critical intervention program, Girls Not Mothers campaign. And with us, we have Ms. Patricia Modeste. She's here to discuss this campaign, ins and outs of it. Thank you so much for coming in. We're very, very excited to have this discussion with you because it is an issue that's been, I don't want to say plaguing, but certainly it's a perennial issue. That's what it is, a perennial issue. And so teen mothers, adolescent mothers, the consequences of their health-wise, socially, financially. So tell us about this Girls Not Mothers and why title it that?
Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning Lisa. Good morning everyone listening to NTN this morning. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about Girls Not Mothers initiative. St. Lucia Planned Parenthood, along with Korean Family Planning Family Planning Affiliation, this week commemorates this week as Adolescent Week. So we put a program together that Girls Are Not Mothers, simply because we know we have a lot of teenagers who cannot access service, and then they are not informed and they are not educated on sexuality and their own sexual health. And we've decided to have this program to inform them, educate them on all these aspects. Girls Are Not Mothers.
So give us of that right now when it comes to adolescence and teenage pregnancy, because anecdotally you hear people say, well, teenage pregnancy on the decline, and just look at our birth rate, it's on the decline as well. So is this as much as a problem as it used to be back in the 90s and the 80s?
So far, I don't have the statistics now, but so far I have, for the time I'm working in Planned Parenthood, I realize teenage pregnancy rate has gone down. For the matter of fact, I can remember some time back in St. Lucia, they were saying that they'll have to stop Planned Parenthood because people are not making children. So they will not have people for the workforce and everything like that. But I'm very happy that my hard work has not gone in the drain, so that it's true that the birth rate has gone down, simply because we at Planned Parenthood is not only there to give contraceptive, to plan your family or whatever, but it's a whole holistic approach to sexual and reproductive health. Apart from that, we have a program since the 90s we started in all schools in St. Lucia. We call them peer education, and it has helped our young people. We started secondary school, and then we went to the primary school where we have pals, the sister leaders, we call them pals. And if I tell you, pregnancy rate has gone down so much at the secondary school, although sometimes we have pregnancy at the primary school, but mostly at the secondary school, pregnancy rate has gone down. And I'm very, very much happy about that, because my hard work leaving home so early in the morning to be at the school has not gone down to the drain.
So teenage pregnancy, I mean, so many factors that contribute to that. And we want to be able to run through some of them. I know we don't have necessarily the time to really, again, flesh it out.
Yes.
But let's talk about some of those. And I think it's important to perhaps what is on the minds of most these young girls are just promiscuous and wanting to go out and experiment and so forth. But let's talk about the sort of sexual awareness of our young girls.
We have boys too. And boys.
Yes, and boys. That was at the tip of my tongue. And boys, that's important.
Boys, because that program we have, Girls Are Not Mothers, we have to put in the boys too, because a girl can't get pregnant by herself, okay? And a girl can have sex herself, even though she has her own sexual orientation, but it's two people to have sex, okay? Teenage pregnancy, peer pressure can cause it, number one. And when you see mothers, the education has to start at the home, where mothers will start with their children about their body, their organ, I always tell parents, sit with your child, give the child the information according to the child's age. You start at very early about the body. Sex education is not about sex, personal hygiene, the different parts of the body. And if you start that way, the child will build a relationship with you. Will be able to sit and come to you and say, Mommy, look at that. Or you can sit and tell the child, look, now you are growing. I realize the changes, the physical changes is taking place. That's the first thing you will see. The breast growing, the boys will hear their voice changing, you know, and the boys will start have beard. You'll see the girls' hip widening. You have eyes. You can see the changes in your own child. So that's the time you have to start. And you start talking to the girls or sons for you to know about your body. A lot of parents don't even want to talk to their children about menstruation. They are ashamed. So what we tell parents, if you are ashamed to tell them, get someone you can trust that can give the children that type of information.
So outside of the home, we want to be able to also empower young girls empower them to take charge of their sexuality. So in understanding your feelings and your body and so on, what sort of thought pattern, the emotional intelligence that young women need to develop to avoid the pitfall? I say pitfall, but because, you know, bringing a child into this world is not a terrible, but certainly it carries with it certain consequences that you may not be ready for. So what is the sort of emotional intelligence thought pattern that young women must have in order to begin to sort of protect themselves from that?
Oh, first thing, one of the things I always tell girls, know your body, build up your self-esteem, know your value. If you know your value, you will not let things happen to your body or let people take advantage of you. Know who you are, know your identity, know your value, build your self-esteem. And ask yourself questions. Why am I on this earth? Why God created me? Because like I tell him, God didn't create any junk on this earth. God created special people, unique people. God, your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and it's not a drive-through. I always tell them, only Kentucky that have a drive-through. Your body is not drive-through.
I love that. I see Homer smiling, Homer.
And you know, and I always tell them, be assertive, you know, and have a role model. For example, if you see Lisa and you see where Lisa is conducting herself, and you can as your role model. Oh no, I like Lisa, you know, and things. So then you will know exactly where you heading to.
I like that. I really do like these points, and I hope that the young women are listening. You're not a drive-through.
You're not a drive-through. You know?
Oh, you wanted to pose a question.
It's being made there indeed. Just talking a little bit about the Girls Not Mothers program, and given all the information that you've provided us already, what are some of the components of the program? So how are you reaching these young people through the program?
Okay, I'm the supervisor for the Information Education Department at Planned Parenthood. I go out and do sessions at different places. And right now, YEP, Ministry of Equity, has a program of the facilitators. I'm in schools working with all the guidance counselors. So the guidance counselors know the vulnerable students they have. So they are the one giving me the names of the students so that I can start that program. That's another program I'll be starting at the school. But the one with the school, I will bring in parents.
Okay.
I'm going to have a session with them. But otherwise, while I'm doing session with other groups, I try to get them, you know, try to get them to come in. Like yesterday, I had a meeting with, they came in and I told them about the program. Now, when you're in the program, you know, most of them, they are not financially things, so they cannot come into Planned Parenthood to get the service. So we're giving, as long as you're in that program, Every service you need at Planned Parenthood, you're going to get free. If you want counseling, well, counseling at Planned Parenthood is free, okay? But if you are sexually active, although abstinence is the key, all right? We preach, tell me, you have abstinence, you know? But then I don't, you know, they're challenging me, but at the same time, I still preach. But then whatever service you need, it will be Planned Parenthood. Now, Planned Parenthood is not only, like I said, for contraceptive. You have a headache, we have doctors, we have family nurse practitioners. You come in and you can see any of these people free of charge.
Very nice. Now, in addition to, this program, you made a very good point in saying that boys also need to be thought of. Do you find that there's usually a different approach when it comes to speaking to the boy?
Well, let me tell you, the boys are so open. When I tell you the boys are open, when I'm doing session with them at the school, and when you see the boys start, they pick it. I said, no, please, do not pick at anybody. Just speak openly. Oh, you're afraid to ask the question? Well, I'll ask it. And then the boys, they love the program at the school, especially when I'm doing sexuality. They have all sorts of questions. Sometimes when they ask me the question, I throw it back at them. They know the answer, but you know they want to challenge you, and maybe they think the answer they have for the question is not correct. So they want to get more information. So when they ask the question, so I elaborate more and I give them more information.
And what about advice you spoke earlier, role models, advice to the role models or approaching those conversations? So if a young person comes to Lisa, for example, and says, ask Lisa a question, what is the best way to approach, giving them that advice? What are some of the things that you need to keep in mind?
Oh, well, I will, as the role model.
As the role model.
Oh, I will tell them, please, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. But then they have to somebody, a role model that will be effective in their life, not somebody that will be, don't cast them, somebody that will uplift their social life and everything. Like if somebody come to me and they tell me, Miss, I want a role model, I would just say, go and take the mark. I will tell the person, look around. I'm a counselor, I'm not supposed to give advice. Sure. I have to give you avenue and you make your responsible decision. Say, look around. Who do you think that you can look up to as your role model? Do you want Dame Paulette? Do you want Lisa? Tell me why you want Dame Paulette. Tell me why you want. And then they will tell you, and you go with the flow.
So you empower them to make their own decisions.
Right. You empower them to make their own decision. And they have to be responsible for the decision they make, not me. They are responsible for the decision they make. If you notice they're swaying around, and bring them back on the right track. You're there to guide them, inform them, and educate them.
And I think that's one of the points where, when it comes to parenting, sometimes you try to allow the child or make the child do what you know is right, giving them the leeway to realize maybe this is the choice that I should be making.
Yes, we allow that. But if we're seeing them going, we're bending a little, we try to bring them back straight, Yes. Like yesterday, we were with one of them. She learned so many things about all the girls, and it was so sad. So I asked them to bring them in. She might not be able to be part of the program, but when we had the stories out there of other people, it's heartbreaking. So we asked them to bring those people in for us to help. Maybe they don't financially, they cannot afford, and we heard they have so many children at an early age. So we need to help these people.
And so talk about the risk factors now for young girls. On the socioeconomic end, I know that in some of the studies that have been done, they've been found that lower income bracket and lower education levels they tend to be affected most by the adolescent pregnancy.
Yes.
You find that be so in the case of
very much so, because, poverty, number one, those in a low income bracket, they cannot afford to take care of themselves. And, sometimes a lovely guy will come around and say they can help you. And you think I will just look at you and help you. The guy will want to satisfy his ego. And stupid as you are, you will have sex with that man or that guy, you will get pregnant. Not knowing, not only pregnancy and get an infection. They don't really investigate that person that they're going to have sex with, or they're going to be in a relationship with, because of money. And sad to say, we have had parents who are encouraging their daughter to go in a relationship with fellas just for money. They have parents who's selling their girls' body for money. They use their daughters for an income. And we have had girls who come in and said to us that, hey, I don't know what my mother wants me to sleep with that man. We have had it now. The reason why we're getting these things, we're getting to know these things simply because some of the mothers coming in telling us, oh, my daughter is having sex and I want her to go on the contraceptive. Sometimes the mother wants the daughter to do X, Y, and Z, and the daughter do not want to do it. So when the mother come in and give us that information, we're asking the mother to bring in the daughter. Not to give her what the mother wants, but to sit with her and ask her what is going on in her life.
But how do you intervene in matters like that? How does the state now jump in to provide protection for these youngsters?
we have a referral network. Okay, if we realize that they come into and at the end we do our part, and if there is social component in it or gender relation component, we refer. Okay, because the same way gender will refer to us or social service will refer to us. We have a referral component. We do our part.
All right. We're speaking.
There's something I wanted to say, I forget.
Hold on to that thought. Let's take the quick break.
Okay.
We'll continue the conversation after.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join revolution.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. Message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Thanks. On the morning update with Lisa and Homer, we're having a very interesting discussion, very timely, relevant discussion with Patricia Modeste of the St. Lucia Planned Parenthood Association. We're discussing the Girls Not Mothers campaign, which has been launched today and in conjunction as part of the Caribbean Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention. And that week is the 18th to the 22nd of November. Before we went to break, Patricia, you had a thought you wanted to share with us.
Yes, St. Lucia Planned Parenthood have a youth group attached to it called YAM, Youth Advocacy Movement. And We train them as health educators, health promoters, where they go out in the different communities and do session for vulnerable groups.
And at that age, the age group of your participants?
You mean the
YAM members?
From 15 to 24, okay? With school leavers, we have in secondary school, and they do not want to join the YAM.
Oh, this is very good.
So they can go out. They can go out, and then they can go out in different communities and do educational session for vulnerable groups in the different communities. So in other words, they make our work lighter.
Yeah, but it also really empowers them in terms of being able to shape even careers coming out of that as well.
Yes, because, for example, there were some of the YAM members, I can mention some of them, and they are out. We have Ernell, who has been working with ADC, that's one of them, and to see them out there doing other things, we have shaped them, we have molded them to be who they are in society. That is really a plus for us at Planned Parenthood. We encourage them to join the group.
If I hand over to him, I wanted to continue risk factors. We spoke about the socio aspects of this, and we know that disproportionately lower income girls from lower income households are being affected. What are some of the health factors associated with adolescent pregnancies? Early
pregnancy, they can get an STI, STD. Then early sexual activity at an early age can cause cancer of the cervix. There are a lot of complications, And you see, when the body is not fully matured, and you get to sexual activities, sometimes the mindset, and if a girl gets pregnant at an early age, what they go for the dinner, and they can reach the wellness center, all the risk factors. But we get a lot of them coming in with infections. Infection, and then they coming in sometimes when they do a pap smear, you getting all that kind. Pap smear really not really detecting you have cancer, but it detecting other risk factors. Yes, risk factors.
So these are a lot of things that you need to think about before, or young people need to think about for making the decision to have sex, and understandably, that is why you teach abstinence.
Right, and not that a lot of people need to know the consequences of sex. You're going to have sex. If you're going to have sex, if you're not protected, what will be the outcome? Pregnancy and STI, and sometimes you get pregnant, the father denial, all these things you have to think of, and who you're getting pregnant for. Because when you give that body to someone, you can't take it back. This body is so valuable. And you know what I tell? Usually I give them example. You give your body to X tonight, and tomorrow morning you pass and you tell the X morning and the X don't answer you. How do you feel? You put them to think, and a lot of times at the end of the session, at the end of my session, I never get up and just leave. I sit in a corner, and some of them come and tell you some things that they're going through, and it's heartbreaking. I can remember at a session I was talking about abuse, and a child ran out of the class, and the guidance counselor went and get that child, and we had police are taken involved. That child was being abused by her uncle in the community, and who knows, because I was talking about abuse. And the child, she couldn't take it again. She ran. And, at the end we had to call the police. I cannot bypass the guy's counselor if I'm at a school. Then the counselor has to take it over. And the guy was arrested. You see? These are so many things that we at Planned Parenthood is doing also in the community.
But it's just such emotional trauma involved in these things. Well, yes, the physical body is going through the abuse, but the emotional and psychological trauma that comes with that. How do you see these things impacting the young girls that you've interfaced with over the years? How are they able to carry on with their lives? How does it impact and affect their lives? And how can they get themselves out of the situation?
Well, I can tell you, Lisa, some of the girls, when they come to us, the stage you were in, and now we give them the information. We don't hide anything. We say it as it is to them, and they come, they tell us, and then they come. They don't come once. They keep on calling. They calling you. Anything they think that they're doing wrong, they call you, Miss So and so, so and so, you know. And then telling you, you know, if I didn't come to Planned Parenthood, or if I didn't meet you, something else would have happened. You know, we're not there to give ourselves praise, but we are there to empower our boys.
And what about young women who may have already found themselves in a situation where they may have become pregnant and looking for the next step? What advice would you give to them?
Oh, it's one thing, if they find themselves in that situation and they come to us, you know, we ask them, would you like to have another child? First thing we're asking them. And they're telling you no. Now you find some of them coming to us when they are pregnant and they don't want that. Okay? But if they have a child already and they come to us, we help them as much as we can. Sometimes they do not want to take the forced contraceptive on any, okay? But we talk about the body. Sometimes we talk about the safe method. You can use your own body as contraceptive. The first thing we talk about, remember, abstinence. Okay, you can use your own body as a method. We teach them that. Okay, and we talk about getting a job, you know, and everything, and so forth. We know we don't really, but we try to empower them so they can go out there to be self-sufficient, to get things about them. And when we're doing session with them, we talk about the mother's health. Are you a parent, Matia? Okay? The mother's health is very important. As a young girl, you in your teens, your body is not fully matured to carry a pregnancy. Pregnancy is between life and death. Okay? We talk about that. Are you financially enough to have that pregnancy? What's about when you have that child, will you be able to educate that child? Because education now is the key. For example, I didn't know, like I tell them, they jump when I said that. Can't asking for CXC to sell 2 pieces of chicken. And when I tell them, I say, that's what they're saying. Yes, I say, you see how education is so important. The house you have, is it adequate environmental things for the children that you bring in that house? Will you be able to have a vacation? Vacation is not taking a plane and go out. You can leave countries and go to view. Will you be able to go out at some point with these children? We have to talk about all these things. And then you see, they start thinking, what's about your education? Right now, you in Form 5 or you in Form 4, you're in a secondary school, or you're in a primary school, because we do session for grade 6. Grade 6 is standard 4?
Yes.
Yeah, when they're into, these things fooling me. When common entrance, you know, we go into them and we talk about, well, we give it to them at the level. Secondary will be different, but, you know, primary will be different. These are the things we have to talk about. We don't really talk to children about contraceptive, because this is not, at that age, contraceptive is not there.
And that's an important point that you made, is that one of the things as a teenage mother, you need to think of mental well-being, to bring that up. Mm-hmm. So, like Lisa mentioned, so it doesn't fall into kind of cycle. You don't repeat it, because sometimes, you know, so what doing the lawyer, the doctors, their nurses, you know, and everything. How would you feel? You know, we're asking them, we're putting them to think, you know, and then let them make the decision.
What about the support system? It's great for you to try to not be in that situation, but if you are, how does Planned Parenthood Association jump in and help create that support system within, whether it be the family structure? Because probably young girl in the household gets pregnant and the parents say, well, I'm prepared to take care of you and your child. You need to go. So how do we provide? How does the institutional support?
Well, with this one, we refer to social services. This is not our line. The only thing we can do if we can support them by giving, and things like that, we refer where they can get further help. That's what we do.
So for Not Mothers program, you spoke about the scope of it in terms of being able to have the understand their bodies and the consequences and so forth.
And to reduce pregnancy. Unplanned pregnancies. Not all, not just pregnancy, unplanned pregnancy. To have them by chance, not by choice. Okay.
What about programs within the communities? Because just listening to you speak about this, I can see small communities and small villages being able to benefit from such programs. If there are no mechanisms, small communities to facilitate that, are there any programs within maybe decentralized program that somebody
in the communities? Well, we usually do work with groups in the communities.
Okay.
And Planned Parenthood have had to reach facilitators. We train community people. We have 2 trained community facilitators, so the community know them and they can go to them for information, or if they want something from Planned Parenthood, they can go to them, and these facilitators bring them to us. So we have this thing established. But we work with, for the time Planned Parenthood is established in St. Lucia since 1968. All leaders in the communities, they know when they need something like an educational session, faith-based organization know us. We just go, we go to every cricket club, football club, name it. We go to them. So we have an established thing with the people in the community.
And do you think there's a certain age that you need to start educating? Because you did mention that there are different tiers or different approaches based on the age. At what age do you think it's important to start educating your sexual health?
Oh, from the time the child starts understanding. The child have understanding what you're talking to the child. You don't have to start at secondary school. Start from the time that is in. You see the child start growing, you start talking to the child about her body, his body, and everything like that. You don't wait for the teachers to do it for you. You as the mother can start in the house. Like I said, you give the child the information step by step so that the child will understand.
That sounds like it's important as a parent. That's one lesson that you will have to learn, how to approach my child and, inform my child, be able to help my child grow up from about 1, 2, and to be able to help them along the way.
Right.
So are there programs for parents as to how they can speak to the children?
Okay, we do parenting workshops, okay? And we do sessions at Parent Teachers Association when they have their meeting. Sometimes I go in and talk to parents how to talk to your child about sex. How to talk to your child about their body. We do these things at meetings with parents. And sometimes we have parenting workshops. But a lot of the come. We mostly have the mothers. But we're trying to bring in fathers when we go out in the community. Men think they know all, but the little that we are getting when we have our session, instead of having a big crowd and the message is not filled, so the message is going around, because some of them are bringing the men to us too.
All right, we're discussing with Ms. Patricia Modeste of the Parenthood Association. The Girls Not Moving. Discussion continues after this break.
We are working parents.
We breastfed both babies exclusively.
Mother's breast milk is naturally the best milk for baby. Love yourself and love me.
We were breastfed and we are free.
Breastfeeding saves money and it's free.
Every moment I breastfeed between me and my baby.
I breastfed twin boys and lost all my baby fats.
We were breastfed
and we have breast milk power.
I am Pastor Alvin and I support breastfeeding.
For more information, call the Nutrition Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness at 468-5359.
Thank you so much for coming back with us. We were with Ms. Patricia Modeste of the St. Lucia Parenthood Association discussing the Girls Not Mothers campaign. Before we went to break, Homer, touched on the aspect of being able, the men get involved. So, how now do you factor the sort of need for the presence of the male figure in the lives of girls? We know on the sort of encapsulated end that children do need fathers in their homes, need to have that male figure to be able to rely on. But break down for us how important it is for girls. We often think that mothers deal with girls and fathers will deal with the boys. But it's critically important for fathers to be involved in their daughters' lives. So break down the...
Both mother and father should be involved in both male and female, not mothers for daughters, daughters for male, the fathers for sons. I think both parents and father shouldn't be involved in whatever child you have. Like father is very important in the child's life. For example, that a child growing without a father, always asking her mother or his mother, where's my father? Now another thing again, they have homes, they have different men coming in. And the child don't know which one that is her, his or her. But telling the child, well, Mr. John is your father. That child will, and if Mr. John is present there to help that child to grow, to understand things of life, that child will be a different child in the world. So there's a lot of children looking up to their father.
Yes.
I was closer to my father than my mother.
Oh, yeah?
And do you think that sort of grounded you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Listen, if I tell you, to me, being close to my father made me who I am today. I'm a very strong person, and to me, my father made me independent. I feel I am an independent woman. I get up to get what I want, because of the way my father was there with me, and to say the truth, I have one son and I'm trying to build instill that to be independent, and if they have a father figure, the father can sit, it depends on the kind of life the father is living, the father can be a role model to that child, even to the son, sometimes the girls too.
So you think that the father can empower the young
yes.
to tell Mr. X, leave me alone?
Right, yes. A father figure in the home is very important. Very, very. Because I take example on myself when I was growing up, If I tell you, my father would tell me, let's go and do that. And my father, yes, let's go. And I try I'm driving today because of my father. I drive trucks and everything because of my father. I drove 5 years without a license before because of my father. So I can tell you, they didn't jail me anyway. I can tell you, a father figure is very important in the child's life. I take that example on myself.
And I think it's so important for young girls to be able to hear from their father the first male figure in their life. As you are,
right?
It's very critical for you to be able to build that set of confidence.
And as you said, I love you. The child has a father in the house, okay? And that father keep on telling the girl, I love you, showing her definition of that love. That child will not go out and look for love from another man, which the love will be a different definition.
And she would understand what
and then she'll understand what love means.
You know,
because a lot of the children going out and look for love, and they're getting that love, the wrong definition of love from somebody. The person will love, but what is the meaning of the love the person will be giving?
You know, this joke. I was in the presence of a friend of mine, a man, his daughter, so beautiful. She just turned 18, 19. And we were saying, oh boy, she's going to be breaking so many hearts, and the guys are going to be coming all really wanting to be around and so forth. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll feel sorry for them. So we said, why? Because what, you're going to deal with them? He said, no, because of her, how she is. I said, is it because you've felt her? He said, no, it's because I've set the standard.
Right.
As a father, set the standard.
Right.
Now, they have to meet that standard. I feel sorry because what I have set, I don't know who's going to match it.
Right. You see? So if a father sets standard for your child, from the time the child starts growing, okay, that child will be growing up with that standard in her mind. She will not go beyond it. Yes. Because the father set the stage for the child. You know what
what your worth is?
Right. It's important to teach the children their worth.
What is your worth? And so you accept nothing less than what daddy or mommy would afford me. So,
and another thing again, that your child is growing up, teach your child what is good touch and bad touch. That's very important. That good touch and bad touch. And a lot of times, you know, the children don't know it, and they fall in the pit with that thing. So there's a father there, there's a mother there. You teach them. The father will say, well, don't let anybody, you know, there are fathers who are open with their children. And I always tell them, if you cannot get there, you feel ashamed, get somebody to help you. Somebody you trust.
Yeah, somebody you trust. And
very important. Somebody. The trust must be there. Yeah.
Nice. So, as we head towards the end of this interview, just to provide some information, anybody looking to get the services of Planned Parenthood, whether it be through the education sector or the community, how do they doing so?
Or can easily contact us on you can email us on parenthood.cd.lc, or they can call 4524-335, and we have a hotline 4537-933. That hotline is hot. When I tell you, it is hot. So many people call in, and sometimes they're telling you, I'm calling on behalf of a friend, and you know the telephone is not confidential. It depends on the topic that they're talking, or the problem they have. So we're asking them to come in, and when they come in, they start speaking and saying, oh, it's you know, but it's our friend. Then we have a WhatsApp platform, 7221234. They can easily WhatsApp us. We answer it on a daily basis. All night long they WhatsApp in the kitchen. But when we go to office next morning, sometimes the nurse take it home, or I take it home. But it's all the time you will look at the phone, and then we give them the answer. So I'm asking them to come in, okay? And then if they, right now, like to tell St. Lucians, Planned Parenthood is not located on Jeremy Street anymore. From May, we are located on John Compton, directly opposite Fisheries.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a greenish building, and we are open from 8:30 to 4:30. But if there is any group who wants any session, they are free to call, give us the date, the time, and the topic that they would like to have, and we go ahead with the flow.
What about persons looking to contribute to the work that you do? Because earlier I did hear you mention handing out hygiene packages.
Oh yes, we have business places. Well, I have worked with business places. We don't charge them to come and give lectures. They call us and we do HIV sessions. We do other, name the topic they want. So they call us and we don't charge them. So in return, like if Lisa have a shop and I can get something from Lisa, I will write to Lisa and Lisa then will contribute something. I will tell her why I want it. Renry gives me hygiene kits, Pizza and Company give me other things. So especially when I'm doing session at the school, the children are a bit shy. So if they ask a question important, that question is valuable for the rest of the children. For participation, I give that child a token. So you find everybody participates. I do that for participation. But with that program, we go into kids and have already gotten all my stuff. So I'm looking now for the little bag so I could package it and things. So we have pads for those who are mothers with kids to give them, and everyone my car full of already. You know, we don't charge them, but when we are in need of something, we write to them and they donate.
That's one thing about our private sector.
The pipe with them, yes.
With our agents. I must say we have to commend the private sector for always coming through and supporting the program. Sandals Grant, we have a good relationship with Sandals Grant, Anderson. Because what happened, they invited me we wrote to all the hotels on the island and to put contraceptive in-house for staff. Because the way the workers are working. So Sandals, we have it in all Sandals. Sandals is the only one who accepted our offer. So I go in a month, do sessions with them. I work with the nurse in-house. Okay? And then when I usually organize health fair at the hotel for them, invite other stakeholders. For a matter of fact, we have one next week, Tuesday. We're doing, this month is Breast Awareness Month, so we have one, we're doing breast checking and everything, examination at the hotel, along with Ministry of Health. So you find something from Sandals. We don't charge them, so they are willing to be able to participate and partner. I want to thank you so much for the information that you have shared with us this morning pertaining to the Girls Not Mothers campaign, but it's also our socioeconomic risk factors out there, the value of parents to be so involved in the lives of their children, the boys and the girls, because not fathers, just the same. And so we want to be able to ensure that our children are growing up as safe as possible, that they cherish their childhoods as well, because once you've allowed that childhood to escape, there's no going back. So that's important for you to enjoy your childhood while you are in that time period.
Oh yes.
So we're coming to the end, Herma. This time we've put weather-wise, see what's happening to us?
Yes, I can definitely do that. Today is fair, partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers at first. A gradual increase in cloudiness is expected with showers and isolated storms, and that from this afternoon into Thursday. So your protective raiment, you need to have that on hand, Lisa.
Last evening, did you realize the rain just came out? Like we said, the rain came out.
Yes, true. That's true. I love the rain
and the lightning.
Yes.
Very true. Seas are slight to moderate today. Waves 2 to 6 feet, 0.6 to 1.8 meters. What about the tropics, Lisa?
All right, in the tropical outlook there, tropical wave located just to the east of the Los Angeles is expected to affect us from this afternoon into Thursday. You need those rain protective gears. A second tropical located over the central tropical Atlantic, moving westward near 17 miles per hour or 28 kilometers per hour. And there's tropical cyclone formation not expected over the tropical Atlantic during the next 5 days. So getting the rains, that's what we want to hear. No solution. The rain can come. We appreciate that. All the storms, and please just stay away. So, because November we get to once we cross over. Once we cross over October, then we head into November. November, October is always the busy period for the hurricane season. We still have a ways to go. It only takes one storm, only one, to really devastate us. So let's just keep being vigilant, do what we need to do to protect our communities and our homes and ourselves from the hurricane season. That will do it for us here. Thank you so much to Patricia Modeste for joining us for this interesting conversation. Homer, it has been an absolute pleasure to sitting across from you.
Always.
And we'll be doing it all over again come, what is
Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Thursday, the 21st.
The 21st
of October, yes.
So the 25th is knocking now, right?
I knew I knew that's what I was going.
The 25th is, the way I've been building this thing up, Homer, it's almost now as if people will be expecting some grandiose things happening. No.
It's
our birthday.
Yes, it is Jeanette Creole. Let's leave it there. Let's just say goodbye for now. Bye.
Bye. 22nd is Friday. 24th. Sunday is your birthday.
Monday.